Good day, everyone. So now we will tackle about the McCrae and Costa's five-factor trait theory. So introducing the Big Five, building the framework, assessing the Big Five, evaluating the model, personality, stability and change, social media and the Big Five, the core principles, understanding the two components, McCrae and Costa's five-factor theory, a diagram, and lastly the five-factor model, a summary. So I'm gonna introduce you now the big five. So what is the five-factor model? So the five-factor model is a prominent theory in personality psychology. So it is proposes that personality can be understood through five broad dimensions. So number one is the openness to experience. So these dimensions relate to curiosity, imagination, and a willingness to try new things. The second one is the conscientiousness. So this dimension reflects being organized, reliable, and hardworking. The third one is the extroversion, which these dimensions involve being sociable, assertive, and outgoing. The fourth one is the agreeableness. So these dimensions relate to being cooperative, trusting, and empathetic. So part two of the five factor model. Lastly is the number five, the neuroticism. So these dimensions reflects experiencing negative emotions like anxiety, worry, and sadness. So these five factors are often remembered by the acronym OCEAN. So these traits are considered relatively stable throughout adulthood. So building the framework. So this is the foundation, the two foundation of the model. Number one is the factor analysis. So the five factor model is grounded in factor analysis. So it is a statistical technique used to identify underlying patterns in large data sets. So it helps to reduce a large number of personality traits into a smaller set of fundamental factors. So number two is the heritability and environment. So the theory emphasizes the interplay of both biological, genetic, and environmental factors in shaping personality. So while genetic predispositions play a significant role, environmental experience also contribute to individual differences. So now we were assessing the big five, the Neo PR measuring personality. So the Neo Personality Inventory Revise, or the Neo PR, is a widely used instrument for assessing personality traits based on the five-factor model. So study shows a high level of stability in this personality factor as individuals age, particularly beyond 30 years old. So evaluating the model. So strengths and limitation. Strengths is the empirical support. So the five-factor model has strong empirical support, meaning there is a lot of research evidence to support its validity. Um, Next one is testability. So the model concepts are measurable and testable through instrument like the NeoPR. So organization of knowledge. The model provide a useful framework for understanding and organizing diverse observation about human personality. So its limitation, cross-cultural applicability. So while the five-factor model has shown some cross-cultural applicability, so researchers acknowledge that the specific manifestation of these traits may vary across cultures. So part two of the strengths and limitation. So another limitation, additional factors. Some researchers argue for the inclusion of additional factors beyond the big five to capture a broader range of personality traits. So nature versus nurture. The precise interactions between genetic and environmental influences and personality remains a subject of ongoing research. So now the personality, stability, and change. So exploring the personality change. So, consistency over time, longitudinal studies following the same individuals over many years show high levels of stability and personality traits. So, influence on change. So, major life events such as living abroad, parenthood, or a significant illness can bring about fundamental changes in personality. So, changes in brain function, example, due to dementia or brain injury, can also impact personality. So, trends across the lifespan. So, conscientiousness tends to increase across the lifespan, peaking in the middle age. Emotional stability, the inverse of neuroticism, generally shows a gradual increase with age, suggesting greater emotional. So, agreeableness shows a slight increase but remains relatively stable through adulthood. So, part of the exploring personality, then openness to experience tends to increase during early adulthood and then gradually declines in older age. So, social vitality and social dominance both show increase in early adulthood, followed by a decline in later adulthood. So, social media and the big five. So, digital footprints and personality. Digital footprint as data, social media has become a valuable source of data for personality research. People's online activity, like shares, comments, and posts, can provide insights into their personality traits. So, accuracy of assessments. Studies suggest that digital footprints can provide relatively accurate assessment of certain personality traits. So, some research indicates that using digital footprints may even outperform human judgment in assessing neuroticism and openness. In consideration, it is important to consider the source and context of digital data when making personality assessments. So the accuracy of assessment can vary depending on factors such as relationship between the rater and the person being assessed. So the core principles, so postulates of the model, the structure postulate. So this postulate states that personality traits are organized hierarchically, ranging from narrow and specific to broad and general. So the big five factors represent the broadest level of the personality traits. So characteristic adaptation postulate. So this postulate suggests that people adapt to their environment by acquiring patterns of thoughts, feelings, and behavior consistent with their personality traits. This adaptation can be learned and can change over time. So lastly is the maladaptive postulate. So this postulate acknowledge that while basic personality traits are relatively stable, they can change over time due to biological maturation or deliberate intervention such as psychotherapy. So understanding the two components, basic tendencies and characteristic adaptation. So in basic tendencies, these are the underlying biological based personality traits. So the big five, they are considered relatively stable and enduring. So characteristic adaptations, these are acquired personality structures that develop as people adapt to their environment. They include habit, skills, belief, and values. Characteristic adaptations are influenced by both basic tendencies and external influences. So, self concept, this is a person's understanding of themselves, influenced by all other components of the personality system. So, it provides a sense of purpose and coherence to life. The McCrae and Costa's five factor theory diagram. So, as you can see in the diagram, so this diagram shows the key components of McCrae and Costa's model and how they influence each other. So the arrow indicates the direction of causal influence. For example, biological bases influence basic tendencies, and both basic tendencies and external influences shape characteristic adaptations. So, in characteristic adaptations, in turn, influence objective biography and self-concept. So, objective biography and self-concept also influence each other. So, lastly, the five-factor model. So, in conclusion, the five-factor model offers a robust and influential framework for understanding personality. So, it is emphasizes on both biological and environmental factors, cross-cultural applicability, and focus on individual differences. So, make it a valuable contribution to the field of personality psychology. So, while the model has strong research supports, ongoing research continues to refine and expand our understanding of this complex model. So, that's all. Thank you.